No, don't. Honestly, it's nothing. It's just conversations. It's just a weird thing that we record it and stick it on the internet like a couple of weirdos. But mate, it's an honor and a privilege to have the sheriff, not the sheriff of Nottingham, but the sheriff of New Zealand on. So thank you. You like the head of state.
Oh, I would not go that far. I would not go that far at all.
Isn't that what the
A
title says?
title doesn't mean anything.
Like it's just head of state, the boss lady.
You must know something different to me because I don't know that title. Maybe in my own home. Ask my husband that. He can say that.
Yeah, I know that sounds like a trap. You know, just nod your head, son. That's all you got. Like just agree, buy flowers, make sure the dinner's cooked on time. It's all good, lad. But anyway, mate, honestly, like I feel privileged to have you on. Let's talk the future of CrossFit in New Zealand, and how we help some folk.
Sounds good.
What would you say the current state is like?
The current state is great question.
You can say shit, it's just personal opinions.
We're in a state of growth and we're in a state of repair. Um, COVID changed, and New Zealand was one of the last countries in the world to experience COVID. And we've still got those hangovers still occurring as other countries around the world have moved on. Not is not quite the right word, but as other countries have progressed, we're still just taking baby steps because we were so far behind the rest of the world. So a current state of growth and repair.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with that. Like, and it's hard as well, right? Because a lot of it is rural. So if you're able to kind of progress from it in the cities in an urban environment, you can tick that box. Cool, let's go and do it. But then mentally, if people are out in the sticks, changing that mindset is a little bit harder, right? And you're just like, wait, hold on a minute. For the last 6 months, you told us to stay in, and now what do you mean? Like now you're telling us to like regroup? It's like it's a slow process. It's going to take a little longer, and obviously, it's at the bottom right hand corner of the world. It's fallen off. It's Middle Earth or Narnia. It's kind of this mythical land.
It is, and we don't make it on many maps sometimes, even. So, yeah, do people know we exist? We know we exist. We're very proud. We're a staunch culture. But yeah, it's going to take a little bit more time, and that's also okay.
So if I was going to give you like a pen and paper and you're going to draw out your dream of CrossFit in New Zealand, what would that look like?
It would be in every school and in every community and every stretch of New Zealand and in the biggest capacity possible, just exposure. So it would have arrows in every direction for the aging population, for everybody.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that you brought in skills. I think like we were speaking about literally 5 minutes ago, I think I'm a massive advocate of grassroots, right? Let's hit it from the bottom. How do you build a wall brick by brick? But you don't start from the top, right? You got to put it on the floor and then you got to stick the cement, and go again. And I think if we're able to kind of address the youth, whether that's the youth poor health, mental health, I know that's a massive issue in New Zealand, right? And it pains my soul. I'm like, okay, like it makes a lot of sense because we're isolated off the bottom of the map. And like you said, it's not on a lot of maps, which again doesn't make much sense to me. I'm like, guys, like it's the country, but okay, whatever. I don't make maps. Um, and I'm like, if we're able to give people the opportunity to have the benefit of this thing called fitness, right? And I don't think it's that black box thinking, right? Like we know if we bring in some input of fitness, mentally we're going to benefit on the output. We don't really know why, but we don't really need to know why because there's a lot more educated individuals out there that's going to figure out why. But we know if we just move around a little bit more and get those endorphins and dopamine flowing, then we're going to feel a little bit better mentally. And usually that means we socialize a little bit more. We feel friendship circles and we gain a little bit of confidence.
Absolutely. And it's a holistic model, CrossFit. It's not just exclusive to fitness. And that's something that maybe we need to do a better job of telling the story and sharing with people, that just because you come for the fitness doesn't mean that's the only product or the only outcome that you're going to receive in a CrossFit affiliate around New Zealand or around the world. These affiliates are the lifeboats of CrossFit. They are saving people's lives. They're changing people's lives, but they're holistic and they're all-encompassing. And it's not just about performance. There are other aspects, the social, the whānau, the mental, emotional, the spiritual, and the whenua, the connection, the why that makes you who you are. And the transfer that has in your life is far beyond a fitness method. And that's what's so amazing about CrossFit. And I could rave for a long time, but it's not just fitness. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's so true. You know, I think, and I'm going to give a little shout out to everybody that comes into gyms like that, you know, whether it's an affiliate or not an affiliate, you go into a gym and you're putting your body on the line. You know, you're working on yourself physically, but then you're also helping people around you. And I think those people is what gives the energy. You know, we're just the crazy people at the front, right? Who like to wear trainers to work. We wake up at 4:30 in the morning, you know, to make a honest buck. Probably a bad idea, but we like to do it, you know. And the people that come in to those gyms, the people that lay it down, right? It's like, okay, coach, what do you want me to do? 7 minutes of burpees. Are you fucking for real? Okay, fine. I'll do 7 minutes of burpees. Fine, no problem. And then turn around, give everybody a fist bump, a high five, an ass slap, whatever. And it'd just be like, you guys, this combination, this synergy between the people on the floor. I don't know about you, but sometimes I take a step back, right? It's like an orchestra. I really feel like a class is like an orchestra, and we're the kind of the drill sergeant, right? And we've got to be able to figure this out. But a lot of the time, we don't need to do anything. You just take that step back, and if you've done it right in the preparation, you've done it right, and you've created that environment, and you've set the precedent of, hey guys, you're not just here for you, you're here for everybody else as well. They end up just helping each other, and you're like, this is why you come to this gym. This is why you don't go to a global gym. This is why you don't just go out for a run on your own. Like it's you helping people, and now you've got a friend, and now that friend isn't from here and didn't have a friend, you know, is from a different city, a different country, and you're like this amalgamation. And you go to like Christmas dues or birthday parties, and everybody's there. You know, everybody's there having a good time. You're like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know I had this many mates.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I'm nodding, like I feel like I'm at a headbanging concert because I'm just like, yes, like everything you're saying just resonates with the experiences that I've had through CrossFit around the world and in New Zealand, but also in my new role. It's educating people as to the outcomes and the possibilities outside of just fitness. And for some people, they come because they've moved to a new town and they want to make friends. And I can hand on heart guarantee, I guess, for my affiliate, that there are some damn good people. And if I give you the credit to say I'd allow you in my house, you're a pretty decent person because I protect, you know, myself and my bubble. But the members that I have met and had the opportunity to be in my life are just phenomenal people.
Yeah.
And I would never have been exposed to them otherwise. I wouldn't have crossed paths with them. But we have this commonality, and it's CrossFit, and it's improving our lives, and it's being fitter, it's being healthier. And it's just, yeah, it's a commitment to your own individual health, but that to your family and the people around you. Because if you're happier and you look after yourself, then everything else just falls into place.
Mm, mm. It's common people, right? You know, it's a common mindset. And it's not just like, hey, I want to look good naked. It's like, that's a great byproduct, right? Okay. Hats off, you know. I mean, everybody likes to watch Magic Mike on a weekend. Don't take that out of context and don't clip it. But you know, it's it's the fact of, hey, I'm gonna do something that I don't like, right? Because I want to achieve something that I don't currently have, you know, and I'm gonna get in that arena with people, and we're in the suck together. And I know this is going to be really shit, and I know this is going to be really hard, and you're not going to want to do it. And unfortunately, I'm that coach at the front. I was like, guys, this workout is shit. It sucks. Like, this is going to be hell. All right. But guess what? We're all going to walk in hand together. and you're all going to feel like $1,000,000 when you get out of this after about 15 minutes, you know. But like
Yeah, you're right. You're in the trenches together, no matter what your story, no matter what your background, no matter what your ability, your disability, your age, all of that aside, you're in the trenches together. And it's also a thing maybe as people get older, is sometimes they don't feel challenged.
Mhm.
So to have that through CrossFit, whether that's the mental challenge or the physical challenge, or to be honest, most days it's just absolutely both, you're doing it together with people who will just look at you and just say, keep going. And that's all you need, is just someone to smile at you and say, carry on. But where else would you get that? Where else could you find that sense of community and connection with people that are total strangers?
Mm. I mean,
But they won't be strangers for long.
exactly. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be pockets of that everywhere, right? But CrossFit is an unbelievable example of it. You know, I really do believe like it's such a great model for people, you know, and we're both in agreement of like, can everybody do it? 100%. But if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. Go do something else. Like, that's fine. Go find what we provide somewhere else. And that's all right. You know, like people can make that decision and that choice. But I really do believe in that self-suffering. I think you got to suffer. I really do. It sounds crazy. It sounds absolutely bonkers, but I think we got to do something that's difficult. And guess what? We're going to fail at it, and you're going to come up time and time again, and we're like, oh, I didn't achieve it, and it hurt. And I'm like, yeah, we need that. We need that like battle. And then we're like, okay, I'm going to chip away at it, chip away at it, chip away at it. You know, like even just going back to, I think we all know those people in school, right? Who academically are unbelievable. They just A's in everything, pass everything. That was not me, by the way. You know, just getting through everything, right? And it was just like, you're barely even fucking trying. And then they get to university and they're at this weird stage and they lose who they are because they don't have that structure anymore. And that structure of achieving and passing and winning all the time. And they come up to something that's a little bit hard and they're like, oh, I don't know who I am anymore. I'm failing, an absolute failure. I was like, yeah, like we need to struggle. Like we need that suffering. We learn from ourselves, right? And I really relate to, like, I've listened to the newest David Goggins podcast with Rogan twice now. I listened to it yesterday again, and I really, really relate to, we learn about ourselves in the darkness, not in the light. You know, if I win, if I achieve something, I don't really learn anything about myself. I've tested my ability and I've come up correct. Well done. But if I go into that weird place, just, and that's Fran 2159 thrust to pull up, or Diane, right, or something like that, or we're going to do 400-meter repeats, which I've got an organized illness. If that comes up, I'm not turning up, Leah. I'm not doing it, mate. I'm sorry, but it's just not happening.
Mine
And
is fight gone bad. If I'm just putting it out there,
oh,
my mental push is fight gone bad. Like I need to prep for that in advance.
so
Yeah.
I got a story about fight gone bad. I used to take a class called Engine Rooms, right? And basically my entire goal was to break people mentally, right? And that was kind of it. I was like, guys, because we were in a time in a city where everybody was unbelievably stressed, like not good. And I was like, okay, like how do we help these people? Because clearly we're not doing enough, right? Yeah, okay, we're gonna build a lactate threshold, build a cardiovascular endurance, and all that nonsense. And I was like, yeah, but I'm also gonna build something called mental toughness. So if I give you a high five, be warned, because that means you've done a good job, but a fist bump means you're done. And it was kind of this rule, right? And it was like, I'm like, yeah, good job, high five, high five. They're like, fuck, we got another workout coming up. And one of them was 10 rounds of fight gone bad. And that is, I did it. I actually came in on a Sunday. I was like, well, I'll put you guys through it. So I'll do it as well. And I came in on a Sunday with my missus at the time, and we did 10 rounds of fight gone bad. And yeah, it's absolutely horrendous.
Did you say 10 rounds?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like it's nasty. Like it's not good.
Just fight gone bad in itself is enough for most people. So
Yeah.
that's a whole new level.
Mm. But that's
But you
my
learn a lot, right? The next time, CrossFit being measurable and repeatable, the next time you do that, you learn so much. And a lot of people, taking notes and using their apps to acknowledge their thoughts and feelings at the time, so that when they look at it again and they repeat that, they can gain that memory back of where it gets tough and where they need to close their eyes and dig deep. Because you're looking for an out, right? You're looking for an out in Fight Gone Bad. It could be the timer. It could be your forearms and your T-Rex sort of technique for the title. You're looking for an out. And if you know, because you've written some really good notes and you've got some knowledge about it, but you won't know that if you've never done it. And you have to experience it to put yourself in that situation to get some measurable, observable, and repeatable data to never do the same again or to make improvements. But a lot of that's what I like Fight Gone Bad is it's mental. For me, it's a mental battle.
Yeah, and you develop a deeper connection with yourself. You understand what you have, right? And sometimes that's not a lot. You're like, oh, I'm mentally not that strong. It's like, that's okay, guys. Like that's all right. That's where you're at right now. We're playing poker and I give you a 2 and a 7 off suit. What are you going to do? You're going to have to bluff the shit out of that hand or you fold, right? Because that's not a good hand, right? And it's like, okay, well, let's figure this out then. Let's go in there and just bring that chess piece 1 foot square forward, go home. Come back in again, 1 square forward, go home. Real small.
And that can be a real misconception about CrossFit, is that people just think you just high intensity every single day, that you send it at every single day. And it's just not reality, because you physically cannot. And, top athletes, 1% aside, the general population are there for lifestyle CrossFit, and you cannot send it every day. So it's listening to your body and understanding that maybe there's one movement in the workout that you want to hang on to and push hard, but something else you need to take some extra deep breaths and be smart. And scaling is not a crime.
You got to earn that right.
Absolutely.
I love coaching weightlifting specific movements, classes, because they come in and like, oh, why can't I snatch? I was like, have you ever snatched before? No. Well, why do you want to snatch 60 kilos? Like, that's not going to happen, mate. Like, people train all like 4 years for a cycle to go to the Olympics. They train 10, 12 years to get to the Olympics for 6 friggin' lifts. You're not going to come in and be pretty decent at it. It's not going to happen. Same with gymnastics, right? So most of the time, same with CrossFit as a whole. You're not going to be that fit. You've got to earn that right. I don't come into your job and be like, I'm the boss now. They'd be like, get stuffed. Like, you're not going to uni. You're not done this. You're not putting your time in the craft. I was like, no, that's right, but I'm the boss now. I was like, no, that's not how it works. You've got to come in and earn that right. And intensity is something that you need to earn too. Like I really believe in it.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a hard lesson to learn when, you think you're fit and you've got your bells and whistles and machines telling you, but either you need to move faster because you're mucking around, or you need to slow down because you're about to redline, and we know that's not a good thing. So managing your body without bells, machines, and whistles is an important mental element as well. Like, I don't need to be told. My watch doesn't need to beep at me. I've got a brain and I need to connect my brain to my body. But teaching people how to do that is not as easy. Like, it's probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made in CrossFit in my time is learning relative intensity.
Relative intensity, exactly. It's all, subjective. Yeah, okay, like we can get some objective data and you're going to stick in this heart rate zone and all that. It's like, great, but like, it's your intensity is going to be different than mine. And if you come in and I'm coaching a class and Fran is programmed, or I'm like, I want to punch everybody in the face, dish them out a hand grenade and pull the pin on them all and be like, just hold on to that sucker. And you just come in and be like, I slept like 3 hours last night. My back is killing me. Right.
Yeah.
Or I just got to come here and keep the habit of coming here. I'm like, great. I'm not going to dish you that hand grenade. I'm not going to be like, I tell you what, belt up for like a 35 kilo thruster, put your knee sleeves on, your wrist wraps on, and just go hard anyway. I was like, no, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to have to bring that intensity right back down. I was like, cool, you've got a moving day. Just move around, have fun, move around. If you feel like you can't talk to me at any part of that time, then you need to slow down.
And how special is it that CrossFit coaches have that ability, that knowledge and experience to know their members on a deeper level other than their name, and for there to be that assessment and that discussion of, hey, I am I'm operating on 2 hours sleep or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is, but that communication as to what your outcome will look like today and what you can possibly give, because it's not the same every day. But most CrossFit coaches have the knowledge and the skills and the experience to interact with their members and find out that information, and not just be yelling and screaming and cheerleaders and say send it every time you pick anything up or you go for a run or you're upside down. It's that knowledge of the people around you, that knowledge of what they've been doing this week, this month, this year, what their goals are, what their focus is. And I don't think there's many coaches around the world outside of CrossFit that do it as well as CrossFit coaches. They understand their members and they use their skills and knowledge to support people. Because like you said, smashing yourself every day, that's not CrossFit.
Yeah, good luck, mate. You're probably gonna not be doing CrossFit in 6 months to 3 years. That's just what's gonna happen. But I would say, because coaching is my art form, right, and it's more than likely going to be your art form too, as well as teaching, right. But I take a massive responsibility of, like, if anything goes wrong in a class or in a gym, it's our fault. It's the coach's fault. And if anything goes right, it's the athlete's fault. To give them the credit, give us the blame. Because this is our art form and we got to be able to develop through that. And I would post that out to coaches of, like, you need to understand your members in a way where you can tell what they're thinking, you can tell how they're feeling, and a lot of the time you don't even need to ask. You just assess the energy in the room. I know it sounds a bit hippy dippy, but you need to be able to do it. We have a social job. It's based on soft skills at the end of the day. Our ability to relay information to people in a way that they're going to understand it. That's a soft skill. That's not a hard skill, right? And then be able to adapt on the fly. I'm going to make you do something that you don't want to do in the short term to get you something that you want in the long term. And that's it. That's coaching. And I would say we need to do a better job. I think we're doing a great job, but I think we need to do a better job of, like, hey, I know you want to go hard today, right? And what I would say is give them a micro goal. And this is something that, like, I've learned just through the craft and learning from you guys, yourself, everybody else around, coaches I've coached around, people I've, like, coached, they've coached me, whatever, just years in the craft, right? You're like, cool. I know Jimmy loves to smash himself in the face. I'm like, well, I'm going to tell him to reduce the weight, but I'm going to tell him to go unbroken. And he's like, oh, you want me to go unbroken? That's a challenge. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll give that a go. Yeah, no problem. He's still going to get some sort of intensity going on, but his back probably won't blow out because he's gone heavy 5 days in a row. Right. And my pet peeve is when you go into a gym and you ask, well, if you ask the stimulus and they say, I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave. But if you're like, what's the weight? And they went, I want it heavy. Okay, we'll go heavy. Tomorrow, what's the weight? I want it heavy. Okay, I'll go heavy. Well, third day in a row, what's the weight? I want it heavy. You're like, what the? I was like, dude, like, I've been a sports lad all my life. I've trained all my damn life. But, like, my body can't handle that. And I can handle an insane amount of volume, and I can't handle that. So what are these people going to do? Like, what? No wonder everybody's putting knee sleeves on for an empty bar.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just laughing. It's scary that the perception of what people do in CrossFit or coaches do is they just slam their members and it's shirts off and it's screaming and it's cheerleading. But when you get down to it and you go into affiliates and you watch phenomenal coaches, it's way more than that. That's just so superficial, that to think that everyone's just yelling and screaming and shirts off and you have to finish first and you have to lift the heaviest and you have to be this, that, and the other. It's just so much deeper than that superficial level. And we've got to do a better job of telling that story to people because they're fearful. And we talked about, people watch the CrossFit Games and they think that if they do one session, they're going to have muscles on top of muscles. And, I say to people when they come in to my gym at CrossFit Mana, just because you cook noodles doesn't mean you've got a Michelin star. And just because you caught a rugby ball doesn't mean you're going to be an All Black. And there are anomalies, and there are some people who have amazing skill level and base through other things that they've done in their life, and they're just fluidly virtuous, beautiful movers and fast learners, but you're not going to be a games athlete overnight. But there are anomalies, like I will acknowledge that. But the reality is that that is not the lifestyle of CrossFit, and the sport of CrossFit and the lifestyle for longevity and sustainability, they're just not the same piece. And we need to do a better job of telling that story and making people understand the difference between the two. While I absolutely celebrate and am always in awe of athletes, there are other people out there for different reasons that need to be equally celebrated.
I remember having a conversation with one of the last morning classes I did, and one of the members was asking about added volume and do I need to do more? And I'm like, depends. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, like, what do you want? What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you wanting to be an athlete? You wanna compete in this thing? Go amateur, semi-pro, maybe pro, like, and do fitness as a sport or another sport as like a major thing. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, we're gonna have to have a pretty deep, in-depth conversation about your training regimen and also your lifestyle factors. And you might need to sacrifice a couple of things and sleep a little bit more and do all that type of stuff. And he's like, oh, that's a lot. And I was like, yeah, bro, I can tell you firsthand. Like, I tried to go pro ball. I was a swimmer at one time. I did the whole CrossFit thing. Like, it takes up a lot. Like, you can work and train, and you don't have a social life nor a family. And I know you've got 2 kids and a wife, right? And he goes, "Oh, okay. No, that's not what I want." I was like, "Okay, well then, do you want to just be a little bit fitter and healthier and do that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds about good. Sounds good." I was like, "Cool. Do what you're doing, but better."
Yeah.
And that's kind of
And
it.
you're right. Yeah. I mean, it comes back down to goals and knowing your people, knowing your members, knowing your community. And if their goal is to be an athlete and to compete, then
Sounds
great.
great. Yeah.
Let's support you in that way. If your goal is to be able to pick up your grandchildren and lift them off the trampoline, or, there's that beautiful ad with the oh, it's
The
just
kettlebell.
gorgeous. Yes.
I love it.
Oh, I'm gonna cry because I just love that. But that functional, and people overuse that word, and I try not to use it. But you know, your why is so important to how you do CrossFit. But CrossFit can help everybody do their why. But our whys are not the same. And you've just got to know what people's why is, what it's about, what they're trying to achieve. And you said it, what is their goal? And then supporting them in that way. And it's endless what the goals can be. They don't have to all be the same. People are on completely different pathways. Some people are just trying to go to the bathroom by themselves. Some people are
Exactly.
just trying to get out of bed because life's a little rough. Some people want to compete and be competitive for as long as possible. And that's amazing. That's phenomenal. And some people just want to live and have a healthier and happier life.
Mm.
And all of those are equally important. There's not one that's greater value over the other. But when someone comes to you and tells you their story, it pulls at the heartstrings, right? Like the possibilities of the way that CrossFit changes people's lives and the way that it's saved some people. Like, there's not a dry eye around. Like, my heart is just exploding. And that's the power of the method. Like, it's the absolute power of CrossFit.
And we we facilitate people's growth at the end of the day, but we don't dictate in what direction they grow.
Mm.
Somebody wants to do that slow, steady, gradual incline towards their 80s when they're still deadlifting and squatting. Sounds good.
Mm.
Mega. You want to go absolute balls to the wall, smash yourself in the face and have a 3-year like athlete life. I'm like, I'd probably have a conversation with you, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, you have that right to do that. Like, okay, and all we do is we facilitate that. We're like, okay, well, I need to know some information and some knowledge about all these different things. And I'll then, yeah, okay, kind of divert off. I'm like, oh, well, if you're bunged up, I'll probably go see a physio, an osteo, or whatever. Not me. I'm just a coach. But we need to be able to fill up many buckets and help people in many different ways rather than just like I like to look good naked. I like bodybuilding, so everybody's going to do bodybuilding in my gym now. Or
Yeah.
I like competing, so everybody's going to train like a competitor now. And I'm like, not necessarily. Look at your demographic of people. How can you help them? Plus, if you take that hat off and put a business hat on, you'll probably retain more members. You'll probably get more members. You'll make more money, and you can drive around in that Mercedes.
And you're right, it's a business at the end of the day, but you're working with people and people's lives, and it's I'm one of those emotional people, but it's a
You and me both.
lifeboat. It's a lifeboat, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities, but what CrossFit has shown me is something that I never, a 4-year physical education degree, nobody taught me how to teach someone how to squat, points of performance, the why, any of that stuff. So I couldn't advocate more for the certifications. They are phenomenal. I mean, $20,000 plus at university for 4 years, learning about physical education for me personally, and 2 days on a CrossFit course. I know which one I prefer. And it's not because of the time, and it's not because of the money. It's because of the straight education that came out of that and the intent. It's phenomenal. The seminar staff are absolutely phenomenal at delivering the method, and it blows people's minds. I challenge anyone who says that it's not good enough in 2 days, isn't this, that, the other, go and do it, and let's have a conversation afterwards, because I haven't met one person who hated it.
It plants a seed. It really does plant that seed, and it's up to you to water it at the end of the day. Are you going to learn everything you need to know in 2 days? No, that's not what we're saying, right?
No.
But we're saying we're going to open the door. We're going to get you over the line and be like, all right, you crack on now. Like, that's up to you now. And yeah, we're still here. And you can't be, in my opinion, you can't be in a room like that with people who are clearly like so hard on themselves of like, I need to deliver perfection. And I know that's not possible, but I need to pursue to deliver perfection. You see them with 3 stopwatches on, going at the same time. They're writing on, like they're batting off each other, and like then you see it ticking in their head. Like you can see the process through their eyes, and you're like, well, these people care so much to teach. Usually, people that already know something about fitness. Um, the methodology for then us to then go out and then help Nana, right? Get from A to
Yeah.
B, or a
Yeah.
kid. And I'm just like, that's so special, man.
It's very powerful. It's very powerful.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Good question. Probably talk less, listen more.
Mm.
I'm practicing that now.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a definite good one. What's the worst
Yeah,
piece of life advice you've ever received?
probably take every opportunity.
Oh,
Not every opportunity is the right opportunity.
true.
But
But
do you know until you've taken it? Am I going to counterbalance myself? I don't know. The path will lead you. You don't know why things happen sometimes, and you go with it.
yeah, and sometimes it's not for you to know, right?
Yeah.
You try and understand why. Sometimes you've got to be okay with not knowing why. Go by feel is what I say to myself a lot. Otherwise I'll just go round and round and round. I'm like, Al, what do you feel, mate? I feel like I got to go do this. Or I feel like I'm needed there. I feel like
Mm.
they need this. I'm like, sound. See you later. I guess that's where you're going. And guess what? You get there and it's not the place. Get on another plane. Get in a rubber dinghy and row somewhere else. Like, just go do something else.
Yeah. It's a great question. I think I need a lot more thought on that one.
I got one more question though.
What is it?
What are the 3 words you would tell your younger self?
Listen, confidence, and courage.
I like them a lot. I really like the last question because it always sits with me for about a week. It's like I digest them mentally in the back of my head while I'm, I don't know, doing something, cooking or whatever. But I like them a lot.
It's an excellent question. Like it's thrown me slightly, but also I think, yeah, yeah, great question.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm just interested in people's perspectives. That's all. Mate, I just want to say thank you. This has been an honor and a privilege talking to the Sheriff of New Zealand.
Please do not call me that.
You know, we're going to have to get you a crown or something, kind of follow in 2 by 2, just like Moses. Is that Moses? No, it's not. It's Noah.
No, that's not me. It's not my leadership style. It's not who I am.
That's why I'm fucking with you. Don't worry about it.
No, I know. Like you can see it stressing me out. There are so many other phenomenal leaders in the community. But passion, it's the passion I have for the CrossFit method that hopefully is the reason I do what I do, and have the absolute privilege to be in this position, minus the title, minus the crown. It's about elevating others. And yeah, I'm not good at these conversations, but it's been a real learning opportunity for me as well. But no crown, no sheriff. We will let you in the country when you're here next.
Mega.
Which will be super exciting. So really looking forward to welcoming you back and in a different state to what it was when you left Aotearoa the last time you were here.
Appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm not really a fan of hierarchy either. Like I'm Northern, you know, I'm a bit of a renegade. So if you tell me to do something and like this is the only way, I'm probably going to give you that middle finger with the thumb stick out to the side with a bit of swag, you know. Like it's not really the way I roll. So I'm always of how do we work together. So no, I appreciate that a lot, and I also adopt that for myself. You know, don't no. I might know a little bit more in this room, all right, but you take me out of this room, I'm probably not going to know know a lot. You know, so we all learn from each other, and I think that's a really really beautiful thing and a beautiful way to live your life. You know.
I couldn't agree more. We learn from each other. There's so much to learn from other people.
Totally. Well, I'll see you soon. I'll have to come down to the sunny state of Palmerston North. You know, I've heard there's a lot going on down there. You know, a lot of merry-go-rounds, circus and stuff. So
we will welcome you with open arms and show you all our roundabouts in Palmerston North. But no, you're most welcome. We would love to catch up with you and talk more about the potential to spread CrossFit through the work that you do. But also come and meet the members at CrossFit Mana. Come and meet my husband. Come and see what we're about. Just some good old Kiwi hospitality.
100%. You know, I'm a touchy-feely guy. I just want to give everybody a hug, you know, and then we'll drink a copious amount of caffeine and lift some heavy tin. Like that's me in a nutshell. Let's do it.
You will fit in very well.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. I'll see you soon. I'll be it's looking like I might be there this side of New Year.
Excellent. Well, send us a message and we can arrange a pickup at the airport.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Have a good day and I'll speak to you soon.
You too. Thank you, Alex.
All right, man. Bye, everybody.